himself up there and keep himself relevant, I think it was. Yellowstar and Rated, meanwhile, down in this bottom lane. Obviously, Yellowstar, he's with Red Pot himself there against the Godbro. The Godbro's shield will be helping him out in this situation, and he's going to be happy to just sit on his turret.
Yeah, he needs to wait for a good couple of waves to, get up towards him. At the moment, we see Soaz actually shoving his lane. He's using those missiles of his to attack at long range. It does have area of effect splash damage, and that's obviously, allowing his wave to push out against him. That's actually going to hinder him a little bit more if he continues to do that. We do see a little bit of a cameo appearance in lane from Svenskeren just to apply some damage and actually counter-push it for Godbro.
I didn't see him dancing. Wasn't that much? I thought he was going to shuffle on from the side. Didn't really cameo as much as I'd be impressed. These Danes, they didn't quite got the dancing moves down. But nevertheless, it is going to be Fnatic pushing on towards his bottom turret. He's going to put some damage down on there, and Rated looking to see if he maybe needs to lock up. And Godbro there. We've seen some very early dives as well from Leonas in this bottom lane, so keep our eyes on that one. Peke, meanwhile, he goes a little bit aggressive on towards Bjergsen, does manage to land the charm and just gets out of the way of the yellow guard, one step closer to the edge, and he's about to break, and he does get caught.
So well played there by Bjergsen to manage to close the distance. The fact that he has those tier 1 boots allowed him to get in there, in the end landing the damage.
Soaz, meanwhile, dodges out of the roots in their bottom there, but the seeds have been laid, and Deficio is keeping the pressure on towards Soaz. Hail of Arrows comes down on him, and he just batters them away from that minion line once again in the tower. Now we do see some, and Rated just missing his Zenith bait there on towards Godbro.
Now we do see in the middle lane, though, look at the positioning for Svenskeren. They're thinking about a dive. Peke still has flash available, and I don't know if they've got enough damage for this, but they're going in.
They're going to go in for it, and the Ignite was being used out. Now it's going to be the Wither, and this time it's just purely to deter him, taking back on towards Bjergsen in that mid lane, but doesn't happen, and Peke continues off the farm.
So summon a spell down, and once Peke hits level 6, Bjergsen needs to be very, very careful because the kill potential is going to be very, very good for the Nine-Tailed Fox. And we've seen Peke land a good couple of charms already, so Bjergsen's going to need to be on his toes to make sure he dodges those and dance around them like Tango Twisted Fate can.
Can you imagine the horribleness of this as the Shadow Dash comes out from Godbro? He's up against N-Rated, who's sitting in the bushes the whole time, and he's up against Yellowstar. He keeps stealthing up. He's going to be like, well, I don't know. I think there's 2 here still. I'm not sure. I don't know. He's just going to be reporting back to his team and saying, I have no idea whether they're missing or not.
It's actually great that you say that because we've spoken to the Wolves a lot, and Godbro is one of the quietest members of the team. They need to tell him, stand united me, which is a great way to play it. But if they go missing for any prolonged period of time, it just leaves that little bit of, that shadow of doubt in your mind. Cyanide is moving up to the top lane to try and help either fend off a dive or just leech up some XP.
I think he's just going to keep him away, but Shadow Dash on towards N-Rated. He's going to take 2-3 tower hits there, and that is absolutely going to force him away. Very well played by Godbro. He has fell behind a little bit by Soaz in terms of CS, but really holding on very nicely.
Now N-Rated, he does drink that potion. He's still got the biscuit available if he wants to use that as well. It's going to leave him in lane, and what it just does is it discourages any more tower dives and a very early teleport from Soaz. He doesn't want to miss out on any CS. The wave is up against his tower, and he just wants to get as many of these last hits as possible.
He evolves his Void Spikes out there, so now up to level 6. He actually missed a CS while evolving it, but he doesn't matter. That's going to keep him, help him clear out those waves. And actually, this is kind of a slow push here, but we do see them diving in. Again, the Shadow Dash, this time the Zenith Blade catches on towards him, as does the Poison. He does expunge it and forces Godbro away.
I'm actually going to put money on the table and think that N-Rated took those tower hits intentionally, because it made me think that they might back away and go regenerate and come back into lane. And you could see, because Godbro couldn't see his opponents, he didn't know that Yellowstar was stealthed up. He didn't know Leona was still in the bush, and he took a bit of damage, but good reaction time put him to safety.
But look at this. Look how aggressive Soaz has now been. The fact that he's now evolved those wings, the Void Spikes, he's just like, well, I'm quite happy to actually push forward because I know if I get caught, I can slow them down, I can walk away from this one or jump away from this one, and he can manage to avoid all that danger. And
he's got the ability to stealth up as well. Right now he has the level advantage, which means there's no Chain of Corruption and no Grasping Roots that's going to throw him up in the air, the Stranglethorns. So at least he's got that realm of safety as Godbro gets caught again.
Another Zenith Blade catching on towards Godbro, and it just forces him to back away. Yellowstar getting a lot of free farm down the bottom here. Look at the farm across the board though. 65 to 64. Both AD carries very even, despite the fact one's in the top, one's in the bottom, hitting just about every bit of CS they can. Meanwhile, the mid lane, 65 to 55. Advantage Bjergsen right now, starting to get a little bit of a grasp on that mid lane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help him out. Remember that the gold number's in his favor because of his passive as well. In the mid lane, we do see Svenskeren was hanging around a little bit as Enrated gets taunted under the tower.
Another taunt on towards him and another 3 tower hits on towards Enrated. Them shield helping him out, but he does have to keep chomping through those health pots.
So he's got no potions left and he's used his biscuit, which means Enrated's going to stay at this HP for a little while. There's millions of pings on the map right now as Svenskeren again goes for an invade. He does have level 6, the same as Cyanide. However, he's going to get vision, and look at the positioning here from Fnatic. They may be able to surround him. Soaz is moving down.
Soaz is coming down behind Svenskeren. He's going to come in towards him. Doesn't go aggressive though. And the Wither coming straight out from Svenskeren. Just like, no, I'm not going to be falling for this one.
So they're going to use that little plant tower as some vision and allow them to know when and where Soaz is moving around. Cynide's going to be aware that he's standing in a ward, and Svenskeren is still sitting in range. He does have Ghost with his NASA, so if he wants to get anywhere quickly, he can jump in there, and you can see he's immediately coming back. Fnatic do not have vision of this, so they won't be aware that the dog is hiding in the bush.
I also saw Deficio's hit points get chunked down, but Peke catches the charm on towards Bjergsen, goes aggressive here, and Bjergsen still backs away there. Spirit Fire being used up, but this time the blue was picked up by Cyanide.
Yeah, he manages to secure his buff, but what it does mean is been denied from Peke. So, well played by Svenskeren. He didn't steal the buff away, but he's denied it from the opponent that means the most to, and that is what counts.
So meanwhile, Soaz, he's now got that tier, and he is stacking it up nicely. The fact that he's actually pushed effectively the Wolves out of that lane. We see the Tess and Deficio. They are now heading down to the bottom. They want to put Nigodbro back 1v1 against Soaz because Soaz is starting to just pull way ahead in farm. I'm
interested to see how this works out because now Godbro's going up there with that Giant's Belt and the Cloth Armor, so he's going to survive relatively well, but I imagine in the straight up damage, Soaz should be able to poke him down. He has enough damage to get through the feint. What we do see, the build that's coming out of Bjergsen is the same as earlier today. He's going to get that Twin Shadows and the Sorcerer Shoes very early on and play a very gank-heavy Twisted Fate.
They thought about trying to get him for the blue, but Bjergsen now, Twisted Fate does have that. We haven't seen him roaming around to a great deal. Obviously, we saw him with a different build earlier on in the day. Very different from what we saw other Twisted Fates building. He was all about the speed, power, and aggression. As it stands right now, he's got that Cage's lucky pick in there, along with potentially Merc Treads.
Yes, I think, no, that'll be for the Twin Shadows. For the cages,
yes,
and the Null Magic will be for that. So he'll be getting the Sorcerer Shoes, exactly the same as when they play Dragonborns, and just get the 6% movement speed really, really early on. What I find quite interesting about the AD carries is that Yellowstar is going for a Bloodthirster over the likes of a Blade of the Ruined King. When you're coming up against a Nasus and a Shen, you know they're going to stack HP. You know that when Svenskeren throws on his ultimate, he's going to get HP. So that Blade would actually be quite effective. But for the time being, it looks like he wants that BT.
And Rated caught out by a number of plants there. The grasping roots from Deficio keeping him pinned down, but Yellowstar is happy to continue farming. Very close between these two in farm right now.
Yeah, it is sitting relatively even. I'd like to see how the engagements go, though. In the top lane, we can see that Svenskeren was moving towards that lane. As you can see, the HP bar on Godbro on the side of your screen is very low. He's been pressured hard by Soaz. At the moment, Cyanide has Paranoia available. Look for a Solar Flare from Enrated's Leona. He is not afraid to open up with that ultimate, allow Nocturne to dive in, and then follow it up with that Zenith Blade.
Well, they did ping on towards Soaz. Remember, at any moment, Bjergsen could just run off up there. Instead, he's going to put the wild card. He's going aggressive on towards Peke. Peke, though, turns it back around, pops his ultimate down. It's going to be very close. Who can get the last hit? It will be Peke with first blood. So close between two, both absolute top players in the world right now.
Neither of them missed their abilities. They hit everything that they needed to hit, but at the end of the day, Peke had more damage. That blasting wand was helping him more than just the KG's lucky pick. Great play from both players, and if anybody wanted to know who is the better 1v1 in the mid lane, I think Ari just proved... Peke just proved it.
Diving up towards Deficio, and you can see Enrated immediately. Yellowstar pops that ultimate, and there comes downtown Cyanide. Doesn't quite catch on. I don't even think he got the assist in there in time. Yes, he did, just in time.
Just got in range to land that one. So 2-0 for Fnatic. They're 1,000 gold ahead. And this is not the first time we've seen this. They have won out lanes against the Wolves, and the Wolves have been able to pull it back. Remember that with Twin Shadows and with Destiny, here comes Bjergsen.
And here is the Destiny stun card, goes on towards Yellowstar, he cleanses it off, but you can see immediately Godbro comes back in, gets that Shadow Dash across, taunts him out there, and Rated flashes out, Cyanide gets involved, he takes a big chunk of damage, and Bjergsen turning things back around in Wolves' favor.
So that's the kill for Godbro to balance out that CS differentiation between them. Svenskaren's in position to defend the top lane tower as well, and he's moved up there. The Wolves have a numbers advantage in Dragon, but they've decided not to go for it because Bjergsen's smite, Svenskaren's smite is not there.
Yeah, means just holding off that top lane, and now Peke Bjergsen still very much aware of what just happened. Doesn't want to go strike toe for toe with Peke right now. He has got another item stacked up on towards him, and Peke keeps the poke on towards Bjergsen the moment he comes back in lane.
Yeah, continually landing auto attack after auto attack. Notice Bjergsen does not have blue buff either, so he is out of mana. He's not going to be able to throw those wild cards out just yet, and he's going to need to prep himself getting off that picker card for some more mana. Right now, Peke has the advantage in the lane because he can spam his abilities without losing anything.
Yeah, you can see it's keep going out there. He's going to have to use those mana cards instead to try and regain some of it, which is exactly what he's doing. Charm does land. Peke puts another burst down on towards him. Mana card comes back out from Bjergsen, and he tries to sustain and hold onto that mid lane. As it stands, 500 gold between the two teams. It's just a 1 kill difference right now between Fnatic and Copenhagen Wolves.
And it was a great reply kill from the Wolves in that bottom lane. They used a lot to pick it up, but it did secure it. Now they're looking to put more pressure in the mid lane. Svenskaren's coming in from behind Peke. It does have his ultimate though, so he should be able to dash to safety.
You saw the sheer panic from Peke as the charm flew off in the opposite direction. It looks like he's going to get caught out there. The ultimate will be enough to dash him away, and Yellowstar was there, and now he's looking to try and take something from this one, saying, you come at me, bro, I'm in the bush.
So he managed to sneak away. Well played by Peke to get to safety, but even better from Svenskaren and Bjergsen to force that ultimate. Peke having to play a little bit more defensive now, since he's going to be in a little bit more trouble. He's hanging around this mid lane, thinking about staying in lane, but he may decide to back off and just pick up that blue buff safely.
Yeah, Yellowstar just clearing up those wraiths. Still actually left the big wraith there. Didn't take the big wraith down. Instead, he's just going to go back to the bottom wave because he realizes there's going to be a lot more gold, and he doesn't want N-rated to take it.
That may have been a call from Nocturne, from Cyanide, saying, look, I want that or I need that, so please leave it for me. So we'll see if he does decide to swing back and pick that one back up. But nevertheless, Yellowstar's made it back into lane, sending 124 CS to the 127 in the top lane. Soaz and Godbro, they're bashing heads.
They're going back at it, and there's going to be an advantage for Soaz here because he's managed to separate Godbro from those minions, but he does take a big hit from all those mages at the back line. And Godbro ends up equal. Those Void Spikes, of course, giving him a big health spike there.
So even with that chain vest, the cloth armor, as well as the Giant's belt, Godbro is losing on all those trades. We do see Soaz picking up quite an early mana immune. You do tend to see the tier getting fully stacked before it gets upgraded and going for either some armor pen or some lifesteal. But obviously Soaz, he's thought about this composition. He handled the 1v2 perfectly, and now he's handling the 1v1 even better with that 30, almost 40 CS advantage.
He's beaten down that turret as well. There's a lot of damage on towards it. He's continuing to keep the pressure on and just effectively prevent Godbro from farming out as much as he can. He has that advantage, and now Peke goes aggressive, but Bjergsen turns it back around, gets that stun guard down on him, and he's going to try and force it, but here comes Cyanide from downtown once again, tries to give him away, and in comes Svenskaren. There goes the ultimate. He's going to catch on towards Cyanide. Peke goes back in. He gets caught out. Svenskaren gets him down, but Soaz comes back in towards it. Teleport down. Bjergsen, though, just holds him off. The stun card's enough. Has to use the ultimate. Turns it back around towards Godbro, and it's a double kill for Svenskaren.
What a great play. The globals were up and available. They started that particular playoff. Fnatic felt that paranoia was going to be enough, but they didn't take into account that Shen was going to be there as well as Nasus. So they end up, taking two. They lose nothing, but the bottom lane tower did go down, and Copenhagen Wolves may be able to pick up this mid tower.
They may well be able to. There's going to be a lot of hits coming on there, and of course Svenskaren with that Nasus, that Q will be doing a lot more damage than you'd normally have from a standard jungler, and they do take down the mid turret. So bottom turret down for Fnatic. They managed to got that one down while it was all happening, but the mid turret, the all-important mid turret, has been taken by the Wolves.
They've evened it up 1-1. There is 0 goal difference between these two teams. They are 100% even right now. Yellowstar and N-rated are trying to be sneaky like only Twitch can, and they've caught them.
They've managed to come across, and that's going to be the test, getting locked down. The Zyra ultimate will be down, but it doesn't come quick enough, and now Svenskaren, he's going to chase this one off, but there's no ultimates to help him out.
Flash and barrier was used by the Test. He didn't even get his ultimate off in that particular engagement, and he just got destroyed by that combo of Fnatic. Because they picked up that kill, it means they now have the positional advantage on Dragon, and this is going to be an uncontested Dragon. for Fnatic against the Wolves.
But Godbro, he's hanging around this mid lane. The rest of Fnatic are close by though. Will they have enough to take down Peke? Will they pursue it? They does take a chunk of damage down, but the Wolves now so has thought about getting in there. Stun card was ready and waiting from Bjergsen, but everybody backs away.
So Peke ate a lot of wild cards there, and he actually missed his charm as well as that Orb of Deception. And it's the first time we're really seeing him miss a number of abilities. It happened in the previous fight as well. So you just got to imagine the pressure that's now on these guys, especially with a champion like Ari, whose damage and CC comes from those skill shots. Soaz does not have boots. So remember, when he gets withered, he is going to go nowhere at all.
Yeah, he has got that Brutalizer, all damage right now for Soaz. No boots required, so keep your eyes on that build. Of course, Soaz tends to be an innovator in the world of top lane right now. Certainly seems to be showing how things are done, but Godbro, he's been there when it counts, and those Stan Uniteds have been so vital so far for the Wolves.
Every time it's been used, they picked up a kill, so you can't get more useful than that right now. The Copenhagen Wolves are just going to be waiting for those cooldowns. Destiny is available. Stand United will be there relatively soon, about 30-odd seconds. And you can expect them to make another play. They've done it before. They've allowed Bjergsen to go in with Destiny and then followed up with Stand United.
Interesting change of range from the Wolves here. They've actually moved the Tess and Divisio in towards that mid lane, despite the fact they've already taken that bottom turret. The middle turret, sorry.
So I imagine the creep wave just pushing up may have been the primary reason for that, and just trying to pick up as much CS as possible on Varus. The test needs to be at a threshold where he can kill people. What I do see in terms of items, though, Yellowstar's picked up that Avarice Blade as well as a longsword, so he's probably working towards that static shiv. I'd like to see how that works out.
Well, we do have a sneaky Bjergsen coming in towards his top lane to see if he can bait Soaz into anything. Instead, he shows himself pretty early on, and nothing's going to come from it. So it's like, well, I can back away from this one, no problem. He has got jump available, of course. He's up to level 12, so he's going to have that second evolution of skills, which means he'll be able to jump a long distance.
Yeah, basically he just walks straight into lane with a giant placard saying, I have a gold card, do you want it, do you want it? And so it's just like,
Pick a winner.
No way, bro, I'm not interested in that. Peke has been snared in place, so he's forced to use his ultimate to run away.
Well, Twisted Fate's going to try and pull that ultimate out. Where's he going to go? Will it manage to catch on towards him? Svenskeren does try and keep him down, and then Bjergsen is just trying to use it to get the hell away from it, but it's not going to happen. Cyanide gets the kill, and now they could dive on towards Godbro. Godbro under pressure. That turret only needs a couple more hits. They could follow through on this one. Instead, they back off. It's another kill for Fnatic.
Very well played there by Fnatic, using that paranoia ultimate of Nocturne to get up there and actually pick up the kill. Some good play from Bjergsen, actually. He had the gold card prepped, and instead of throwing it onto Cyanide, Cyanide has spell shield up, and he landed it onto Kha'Zix. Fnatic have not stopped, though. They're continuing the pressure in the top lane. They don't have their auto attackers other than Kha'Zix, so it may not be a tower down.
Good shadow dash there, getting some damage from the turret on towards Soaz. You see the lumping through there as the tower hit follows it through. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, the Tess and Yellowstar, they've been going back and forward. The Tess just has no idea. It's horrible going up against the Twitch, because he could be there, he could be gone, he could be there, he could be gone, and now he's gone.
Yeah, I thought for a second he may have tried to set up a kill, but he's got no way of locking Varus down, and Varus had barrier as well, so I imagine that Yellowstar would have been well aware of that. Right now, though, that's the first noticeable gold lead for Fnatic. They've increased it to 4,000 gold at 21 minutes, but 1 or 2 kills for Copenhagen Wolves will immediately put them back in the running.
So let's have a look across the team comps and how have they really done in lane. Obviously advantage so far with Yellowstar between the 2 AD carries. Mid lane, I don't know. I mean, it's a kill versus 3 assists and 2 deaths, but the junglers is working very well for Svenskeren right now, but the paranoia has helped for Cyanide. Top lane, I don't know, really, it's very different top laners. Soad's going to be all about the damage, all about getting in there. Godbro, though, has been assisting in every single fight the Wolves have had.
Well, from a numbers perspective, don't forget that Peke has got, what's that, 40 CS more? Is that 50 CS more right now? As well as Soaz having 30 CS in the top lane. So that's a very, very big difference between these two teams. The one thing that does play into the Wolves' favor, the predominant amount of damage from Fnatic is physical damage. Kha'Zix, Nocturne, and Twitch will all be dealing physical, and you can see that Godbro is working towards that Randian's Omen, and I would assume somebody would be picking up a Frozen Heart at some point. That's going to help their entire team get leaps and bounds as far as survivability is concerned. Godbro is trying to set something up here with Soaz. Pay close attention to Bjergsen's positioning because Destiny is available.
That just forces him to jump away as he stands on him with that Sunfire cape and just pokes him back and forward, and Soaz well aware of the situation, just jumps back to his turret, quite happy to just farm it out and keep those void spikes on those minions.
Well, flamethrowers do kill insects, and it looks like the Sunfire Cave's doing work against Kha'Zix. Svenskeren was moving towards this top lane there to try and set something up, but decided not to come in from behind from that tri-bush, and is instead just going to try a frontal assault to try and get this tower down.
As it is, Cyanide's been spotted. He's trying to creep up the river right now. See whether he can dive in. Let's see if they try and create something from this one. Svenskeren was there with him. So a dog and a plant lady. I'm not too sure how you add that one together.
Don't dogs eat grass at all? But it would be a team kill if that happened. Nevertheless, Yellow Star on the bottom lane. He's shoving this lane down. Got a pickaxe to back up that Avarice Blade. Look at Xpeke from the side. Now, if they do get Varus alone, they may go for a dive, but Yellow Star's been uninterrupted. Here comes the Destiny.
Bjergsen comes in there and tries to prevent them from going on towards it. You can see immediately the Shadow Dash comes in, not quite going to land though, and Godbro now caught out. Cyanide just off the side. There's a ghost being used by Svenskeren. There's a big angry dog, and he's coming for the rat. He does flash away though. Chain of Corruption tried to catch on towards him, but everybody avoids the damage. Svenskeren, he's still there with Enrated though. Can the rest of the team collapse on towards him? Hail of Arrows does, and forces the flash away from Enrated.
Soaz is still up in the top lane. Fnatic are running interference. They are trying to keep the Wolves busy. They are trying to pull them back while Soaz is dealing damage in the top lane. This is a split pushing Fnatic without any global abilities, and they've got the tower. Mission accomplished, albeit it cost them summoner spells.
Inner turret does go down, and summoner spells, well, it's worth it, honestly, and Enrated was just keeping Svenskeren at bay there. Could have locked him up at a moment's notice. Now the Godbro here has got him towards that top lane. He will stop Soaz, and the rest of Fnatic, well, job done.
So 4 towers to 1, that's a 5,000 gold lead in favor of Fnatic. They do have a dragon to their name, and the second dragon has just respawned now, so they're going to try to pull this one out. Copenhagen Wolves have 0 positioning, and their globals just got used. Whether or not this was a bait from the very get-go by Fnatic remains to be seen, but a great play by them, and they secure themselves another dragon.
Fantastic play if that was all planned, because they were planning a long, long way ahead. So as still remaining in that top lane, still yet to go back, finally deciding, nope, Godbro's going to come back in towards there, and he is just going to walk away from this one instead. Peke back towards that mid lane, continues that farming advantage you mentioned earlier on. 50 CS now he has built up over Bjergsen. Bjergsen currently really unable to make his global pressure count against Fnatic, despite the fact they have that double combo, that double global combo. It's not working out for them right yet.
There's a lot more calculation from Bjergsen when it comes to using his destinies. We've seen it in the matchup against Dragonborns. He pretty much used it every time the ability was available. This time around, there's a lot more thinking, and he's only doing it once Stand United's there as well. So he literally goes in, the Stand United comes down on top of him, and they both arrive at the same time. It requires a lot of coordination to pull that one off, but of course it does mean that they need to wait for the Stand United to be up, which you can see is still only 25% of its cooldown available. I'm very interested by Soaz. 25 minutes in the game, he still has not purchased boots. He's relying on the base speed of 350 from Kha'Zix to be enough, as well as that leap.
So, Fnatic, they've been back to buy, and they've got that runic bulwark on there. We do see Soaz still yet to get the Mirror Mana completed. That Mana Moon has been on there for a while, but he's added that, a Bloodthirster on top of it, and he's still not got boots.
Yeah, it's unique. You know, we've seen Against Authority doing it a good couple of weeks ago, week 6 or week 7, where a lot of members of their team didn't purchase boots. We also see that Enrated is not running boots as well with Leona, but he's got fairly good range with that Solar Flare, and the Zenith Blade will pull him into a fight. So that's what they're relying on, but it also means that Enrated's going to be very careful when traipsing around the enemy side of the map, because he can't run away quite as effectively. If you look at the positioning there for Soaz, he may be in trouble, or they may be trying to make something happen as Xpeke is on the way too.
It's a word I've not heard in a while, traipsing around.
I'm trying to expand the vocabulary as they've jumped onto Godbro. Soaz is just going to force him away.
Yeah, he's just going to hold his ground, because Peke was close by. The fact the entire Fnatic team is all stacked up around that top lane, maybe thinking it's time we can try and force something out. Meanwhile, blue buff's being picked up by Copenhagen Wolves, and Fnatic, they want to cause a fight here.
Fnatic, they just want to cause trouble, I think, is the objective. You can see a fallback ping there in the mid lane from the Wolves. They've started to stack up, and that window of opportunity for diving has become a lot more slim because of the fact of Copenhagen Wolves are all nearby. Stand United is available as well, so if they do jump in, expect this to go very dramatic very quickly. Both Cyanide and Peke can jump in, and are very mobile, so expect that.
trying to bait them in towards that jungle, but it's not happening. And Yellowstar, he just goes off, and they are starting to farm out. Oh, the charm completely missing from Peke there. Thought that Godbro was going to go a little bit closer, and instead he fires off a shot, completely missing.
Yeah, I was anticipating, I think, the pathing to go to the right as opposed to straight through the bush. Of course, it does mean Godbro gets away with his life. Destiny's available. He's going to land it on Yellowstar.
He's going in for the rat, and he's going to be Stun United as well coming in. They're going to try and get the Shadow Dash on towards him. He cancelled it out there because he thought he had the kill. And Bjergsen, well, if he's going to get this one, he's going to have the flash available in a few moments. He does manage to get the stun card, but Paranoia used from Cyanide just to prevent him going in there. And instead, Bjergsen is going to back away. Meanwhile, Sven Skaren on Tess. They gather on towards Soaz. They manage to take him down. We do see Bjergsen. He's escaped with his life down the bottom lane. The Grasping Roots comes out. He catches on towards Peke. Shadow Dash straight across there. He's taken down by the Tess. Hit 2 kills by the Tess in that top lane.
Well played by the Copenhagen Wolves there. They try to make that play happen. Whether or not Godbro interrupted his own Stand United or it was interrupted remains to be seen. But Ghost is up from Sven Skaren, and they're trying to catch N-Rated.
They're rushing in for Baron or potentially for N-Rated, but it doesn't matter because Yellowstar's taking down another inner turret. There goes the turret down. Deficio comes in on towards N-Rated. They are going to drop him down. They're going to go for Baron, but Yellowstar and Cyanide, they're still pushing.
This is a practical
Teleport's
remake.
available.
This is almost a remake of the last time these two teams fought, because this exact same thing happened. Fnatic lost a team fight in and around the Baron pit. Bjergsen starting to recall, but look at that, the taunt on yellow. Teleport
coming in as well. Soaz is going to join the fight. He's going to get in towards it. It's the inhibitor turret they do take down. Baron will go across the Copenhagen Wolves, but they are on the inhibitor, and they have to trade around as much as they can. Now they're going aggressive, but Bjergsen's back. He comes in towards Soaz. Soaz tries to leap away, but he's going to get shadow dashed on by Godbro. No, it doesn't matter. Bjergsen is there. He finishes it off, and here comes the ultimate. The Destiny on towards Cyanide flashes through. Stun card not going to land. It's the slow instead, and Godbro continues to chase. He's not going to be able to get away. He's going to be able to shadow dash if he lands at the right place.
Got to be very, very careful because Peke is in the mid lane and he can join this party at any time. A great play by the Copenhagen Wolves. Yes, they now have an exposed inhibitor, but they have Baron Nashor on every single member of the team, and that is going to be so important for them. Expect now the Copenhagen Wolves to start sieging. Expect them to push as a team, but they have to be careful because of the fact that that inhibitor's exposed. We could see Fnatic try the backdoor.
Deficio is going to try and pick up some farm in that mid lane, clear out the waves, and try and keep the charge pushing for the Copenhagen Wolves. You can see Godbro, he's clearing out the bottom lane. Top lane's going to push itself, so Wolves have a choice, and it's going to be the mid lane.
So mid lane it is. They want to try and get down the shortest lane possible. They've got the regen and the sustain, but they got to be careful because Peke was just about to find out Deficio, and they're very split right now. Stand United is about to come off cooldown for Godbro, and there's about 10 or 20 seconds left on that Destiny, and that's when Copenhagen Wolves are going to say, let's play, because they have the ability to jump all over the map.
Soaz has gone to the top, finally got himself some basic boots in there, and he will clear out the wave. He's got the workings of a Last Whisper in there as well. See whether he builds up towards that, but the Tess is the man of the moment. Picked up those 2 kills in that top lane, got that Infinity Edge, blamed the Rune King and Zeal. 2-1-2 right now, shoving straight for that inner turret.
Copenhagen Wolves need to make sure they play this properly because they do have a 5-man stack in the mid lane, but there's a lot of damage from Fnatic. They're grouped up and the solar flare's down.
Peke goes in, lands the charm on towards Bjergsen. Bjergsen tries to avoid this one. Meanwhile, this is happening. Godbro and Soaz are going out in the top lane. Everybody backs away, and it looks like Godbro is going to be winning out this fight. There you go, catches on towards Soaz. The shadow dash is enough. The minions are beating on him. He tries to ultimate, jumps away from him. Bjergsen's going to come in for it. Destiny flashes away from this one. The shadow dash, will it be enough? Yes, it is. Catches on him. Bjergsen takes him down.
They've got to be careful. 3 members of the Wolves are in the mid lane, and I think what the Wolves need to do is back away. Yellowstar has stealthed up, and he almost gets rooted. Well played by Deficio. The Wolves do not have the outer turrets in the top or the bottom lanes. They kept their eyes on the prize so much that they've forgotten about those lanes, and you can just see a red ping on the top lane there. So I would expect them to go top and bottom to push that down while they have Baron close this gold deficit. But there's a massive wave pushing against them.
There's a gap here because Peke was off getting the blue buff, which means the inner turret will go down. The top lane is also going to be pressured, and there's going to be a giant wave pushing on there. I would expect to see Copenhagen Wolves shifting across and taking down that bottom inner turret in the top lane, and you can see them all coming across. Blue buff was just picked up in time, and the Wolves do back away.
So 2 quick towers is going to give them a nice gold lead. So immediately going to see somebody falling back. It looks like Shen has been the nominated party to clear out that wave. Stand United is still available, so if a fight breaks out, he will join the party. He's also got the making of a Phage, and we've seen Godbro building a Trinity Force earlier. This inner top lane turret is now down to less than 20-odd%, and the Copenhagen Wolves are using this Baron buff perfectly.
Absolutely brilliant. They've got about 30 seconds left on that Baron buff, so the siege continuing here. We do see Fnatic coming around the side, N-rated, ready and waiting to see if he can try and lay something down, but the Wolves are smart to that one, and they back away because of those wards in the blue buff.
N-rated cannot chase either. He's got a lot of very good items, but no mobility items right now. So he's relying on the fact that the Wolves stick around longer than, they should in that particular setup. At the moment, we do see Yellow Star. He's ghosted up again, or got invisible rather. Gets the movement speed buff, and he's just scouting, just seeing what's around.
Well, they continue to hold off this bottom, but look at Godbro. He's going to be taking that bottom turret if nobody reacts to him, so that's going to be another advantage gained and pulling the gold straight close together. And, well, he is just going to back away. He hasn't got vision of this, of any of the team. Instead, he's going to go Dragon.
So he's got a lot of survivability here. You'll see that the Bjergsen's Twisted Fate will be moving down as well. He's going to just solo this. It'll take him quite a while to solo it, unless somebody else with some high damage can actually help him out. Very good play, nevertheless, just taking as many objectives as possible. They secured Baron. Baron has now worn off, if I see correctly, yes. And they picked up 1, 2, 3 turrets and a dragon out of this one. Great play to close that gold gap and put them now in the driving seat.
Well, I tell you what, they're in a great position to collapse either on the bottom or the top here, because they're going to see the bottom lane. There we'll see Ari showing there, which will be Peke and Yellow Star, and the mid lane they also saw them showing, so they've taken the dragon and the blue buff for themselves, and look at that gold. It's just 1,000 now between them, 34 minutes into this game.
Absolutely everything is bang on even right now. Look at the gold numbers. 500 gold in the top lane, call it 1,000 in the mid lane, 500 for your AD carries. That is as close as it's going to be. A couple hundred gold here and there basically gets balanced up by wards and Oracle elixirs. So this is literally an even fight. What does play into Copenhagen Wolves' favor is that global presence. They can be anywhere at a moment's notice. Now Peke may have found Bjergsen out. There are 2 members of Fnatic here, and it looks like they're going in.
But Svenskeren, look at this. He's making his move down here. They are aware of this one. But will Bjergsen be taken down in time? Wow. Yes, he will. Absolutely destroyed. Godbro did use Stand United, but he was gone before they had a chance. And now N-rated, he's looking to lock up Svenskeren. Gets 1 stun, gets another stun, gets another stun. And now the damage going to come out. Will they pursue it? Yeah, bet your life they will, because Soaz goes leaping across. The plant's coming through, uses that ultimate. He's not going to follow it through, though. But the pressure is now on the Wolves.
So they're a man down, 35 seconds on the clock. The rest of Fnatic are moving up to this inhibitor. Chain of Corruption is available. Godbro is very beefy and tanky. He can survive a lot. But can they win a 4 versus 5? Godbro's going to need to get a great taunt and lock up the damage dealers. Here's the fight.
They're trying to hold off as much as they can. It's Godbro missing his Shadow Dash there, and now he's just going to have to back away from this one, but they've held the inhibitor. They've got another 10 seconds before Bjergsen's up.
Fnatic don't have ultimates, and that's why they're not willing to fight right now. Svenskeren does have the slow onto Cyanide, and it looks like they want to go in.
They could try and keep them busy here. Bjergsen's going to be up in 3 seconds' time. Can they try and lock someone down? You can see Svenskeren, he wants to get in. They've turned the fight around, and here comes the Destiny. Paranoia goes in, though. Svenskeren gets dropped. Godbro's turned on. He's taken very low. Cyanide's going to get dropped as well. Godbro has to flash away from this one. Peke's going to try and turn it around. The stun guard. Peke goes down. Bjergsen picks up the kill. Then Twin Shadows goes out. And then Rated turns his ultimate around. The stun guard though on. That's going to be a double kill for Bjergsen. And it is even all between the two. Stun guard flash. Saren. So fantastic game so far between these teams, and still it remains at 900 gold between them, and we see Godbro starting off the Baron and the rest of the Wolves all heading that way. No vision whatsoever from Fnatic on that Baron right now, and no presence at all either. They're not even close to it.
10 seconds left before Soaz can respawn.
Fnatic, so he can't do a thing here. Godbro just needs to stand next to him, and it's going to be enough to take him down. Bjergsen is slowly but surely going to clear out those waves, and look at that. Sunfire Cape doing work right now, and Godbro does get the kill. on Peke, and that's going to give him a 60-second death timer.
16-6. There is a 10-kill advantage, a 3,000 gold advantage in the favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. They are still 2 towers down and an inhibitor, but they are controlling the pace of this game. They are winning the team fights. Look at the itemization from the test. He has a Randian's Omen. We talked about how much physical damage is coming out of the Fnatic members, and that is a perfect item to keep himself alive. Even more interestingly, Svenskeren picked himself up an Iceborne Gauntlet.
One thing is for damn sure. Why are people not banning Twisted Fate? The Korean scene have shown this is the way to go, because every time it seems to be the global pressure that not only Twisted Fate but also Shen alongside him is working wonders. Look at Godbro, 4-0-10. He's been involved in 14 of the 16 kills currently for the Wolves.
And again, talking about that, the comfort picks. Godbro Shen is one of his most played champions. It's one of his go-to champs. You've got Twisted Fate for Bjergsen. You have Varus for the test. So the rest of the players, they're getting, champions that they're used to playing, that they play all the time. So they're in this position of power right now while they have this Baron buff, but they do not have map presence because of those super minions pushing up against them. And of course the rest of the lanes having an additional 100 HP thanks to that inhib being down. So the Wolves need to be very, very careful with their decision making.
Well, the Test has to be careful right now because Fnatic, they're coming in the side. Svenskeren is there. The rest of the Wolves are coming around the side. He does dodge out of that charm. He manages to land it. There's going to be the Destiny. Who will be the target they're going to go for? Let's see where he does go. And he's going to be N-rated. Chose to sacrifice himself there and knew he was going to be going down. The rest of the Wolves are going to pursue. Oh, Peke nearly getting caught out there.
Ghosts
they're
are
going to
chasing.
run away. The Twin Shadows comes out. They're going to catch on towards them, but Fnatic have managed to make it into their base. Will that inhibitor turret be enough to defend them?
5 versus 4. Copenhagen Wolves are very tanky. There's a lot of armor and HP on their side, and this tower is going down so quickly. The Lichbane and the Varus are just tearing it apart. They're going to get an inhibitor of their own, and all of a sudden, this game is just completely blown wide open. 5 versus 4 still. Bjergsen has almost got flash available, so look for a flash gold card.
Yellow Star, if he wasn't stealth, he would have been dead instead. He manages to escape with his life, and the Wolves escape after taking down an inhibitor turret. There's a big stack of minions on the top wave, though. I'd love to see how close that's going to be getting to taking down that top lane inhibitor turret. It must be low, and they are going to have to get up and deal with them because there's enough there to take it. There is also a big stack coming along the bottom lane that you can see. Bjergsen looks like
the inhibitor has respawned on the bottom lane, and once they clear out those last super minions, it will be the very last few. Soaz almost found Bjergsen out, but doesn't manage to pick up that kill. And with that inhibitor respawning, all of a sudden the map presence and the map control is now in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. Fnatic managed to pick up a dragon as the Wolves need to defend their base. But very good and exciting game between these two teams.
very much on a knife edge, and it's great to see the last game of the day. Remember, the Wolves, they have to take a win here after Evil Genius is taking down Gambit. Fnatic, of course, well, if they can hold on to that win, it will keep them that top position, which will be almost all about pride. And of course, going in towards the playoffs, it's an important position because they'll be going up against 3rd and 6th place.
Well, talking about that, whoever places 4th or 5th, whether it is going to be Evil Geniuses, that's going to be a best of 3 against this Copenhagen Wolves team. And they are playing so phenomenally well right now. We do notice another great item pickup there from N-rated. He's got himself the Randian's Omen as well. So a lot of Randians going around. And Cyanide, as is to be expected, Frozen Mallet being picked up. So he does prefer to pick up those sort of offensive type of items.
But more importantly, there's still no boots from Irradiant. He doesn't need boots. He's just going to be staying in his base anyway.
Yeah, exactly. There's no Shredder's Reverie either. As I say that, it just gets purchased, so there's going to be his movement speed. Now, Fnatic are playing sneaky. They've stuck 2 of them into the bushes. Nocturne is waiting. This is going to be a 5-on-5.
Oh, the Twin Shadows. The Twin Shadows sees them. Svenskeren does get caught, takes a burst of damage, but Peke had to use his ultimate, the first ability of it, and that is not going to be available when the fight starts in a moment.
And great positioning from Deficio there. He threw the roots up from the side. If anybody stepped forward to last hit or clear the wave, they would have been rooted, and that would have been the signal for the fight. Take a look in the top lane as Soaz is trying to get in there, trying to make the engagement happen, but it's a great siege, and right now Wolves have the better positioning.
Godbro happy to take a tower hit or two, and he's trying to bait the rest of Fnatic into this one because he knows he's tanky enough to take that burst damage out from Fnatic, and he's almost certainly not the target they want to go for. Svenskeren picks up the golems just off the side. There is super minions coming down the mid lane, and Fnatic will have to deal with them in a moment, and Wolves realize this is just a waiting game, and they can hold this one out slowly but surely, chipping down that turret.
So the turret, it will be dropping very, very soon. The minions are about to collapse with the Nexus turret. You can see Yellow Star has already started backing away. Fnatic have said, leave it, abandon ship. We cannot save this turret. Let it go down. And with that, the turret advantage is now in favor of the Copenhagen Wolves. They are 7-6. They have a 6,000 gold lead, and the game is in control of the Wolves.
So, pings up the top, Soaz goes up and clears that wave out. He's 0-5-2, by the way, Soaz right now. Who the hell would have expected that when we saw Kha'Zix getting locked in? And I was not expecting Godbro to be 4-0-11. Fantastic performance so far from him, and really, it's a great team performance across the board because Svenskeren, you know, despite the fact they banned his Jarvan away, he has played a fantastic Nasus. Baron's going to be spawning in 2 seconds' time. They are all over it already.
They have vision on this one, and Fnatic are going to be close enough to challenge. It will go down very, very quickly, but Wolves have peeled off, and it looks like they want the fight instead.
Bjergsen has that stun card, and Lichbane glowing ready. They walking through the Wolves. Can they try and catch on towards it? The blue buff even stolen away there. I think it was the Test that got it with the spear.
And those ghostly siblings are about to be off cooldown. They can throw them out, and it does look like they've caught Peke.
Zhonya's Hourglass used, but the Zyra ultimate comes out from Deficio, and they bounce Peke in the air. He tries to dash away, but it's not going to happen. Svenskeren catches him down, and Rated dives in. Sacrificial lamb is all he is, though. And now Soaz, they trying to get on towards Deficio. So a single support player goes down, and the top laner drops. There's the Twin Shadows landing, and Bjergsen with the stun card. Cyanide goes down. It's a triple kill for the Tess, and it's looking like the game also for Copenhagen Wolves. The cleanse comes out from Bjergsen, but they don't give a monkeys because they go straight for the Nexus turrets. It's going to be the Copenhagen Wolves taking down Fnatic. It is back and forward on the top lane, but it is the Copenhagen Wolves having a fantastic day. 3 games in 1 day, no problem. They go 3-0.
Can the Copenhagen Wolves go 5-0? Can they dethrone Evil Genius?